Alright, today we're going to go over some concepts and key knowledge about volleyball. To start off with some terms for a better understanding later down the road, we'll start off with line judges. There are two line judges on the court. They are there to point the flag to say whether the ball was in or out of the line. Then you have the main judge. The main judge is the guy that's on top of the steps who's usually pointing to which side the ball goes to or making the big boy calls. A jump serve. The jump serve or an overhand serve is when the server throws the ball up in the air and jumps up and hits it overhand over the net. The bump serve is the more simple way to do it. That's the one where we all learned as kids, where we keep the ball by our hip out in front of us and we hit it underhand up and over. An ace is when the serve is sent over the net and it is not returned. A bump. A bump can be off a serve, or it can be a pass to somebody off really any type of hit. A bump is when you have your hands down and we're hitting it with the bottom of our forearms and passing it to our teammates. A set is an over the head hit. That's where we're making the triangle with our hands and letting it fall in and gracefully popping it out. Spike. Spike is when they go up to the net, they jump up and they slam the ball down to the ground as hard as they can. Lifting. Now, lifting is illegal. Lifting is when we catch the ball and we lift it up in the air. So it's not like we're hitting it, it's more as if we were catching it and tossing it up to each other. And a double hit is when the same player hits the ball twice in a row without any other teammates or anyone else hitting the ball in between the two hits. Now, these are just a few of many terminology subjects that come within the sport of volleyball, but these are the important ones that you're going to want to remember also for the assessment later at the end of the unit. These are the ones that you will most likely hear a lot of the times and that you'll want to familiarize yourself with. Now, to go over some of the basic rules, these are the rules that I expect to follow within my PE class. Uh, there are obviously a lot more complicated and complex rules to the game of volleyball, but these are for the basics. So, 6 players to a side. That means 6 players of each team can be on the court at all times. Now, within those 6 players, there's 3 in the front and 3 in the back. The back must stay in the back, and the front must stay in the front. Uh, Maximum of hits per side is 3 hits, so no more than 3 hits on your side before the ball has to go over the net. Points on every serve. So this is called rally scoring, meaning that no matter who served the ball, there will be a point on every single transaction. No hitting the ball twice in a row. And I just covered that with double hitting. Basically, if I was playing volleyball on one side and I hit the ball up and it didn't go anywhere and I hit it again prior to the opposite team or one of my teammates hitting it first, that would be illegal. That would be a point the other way. Ball hits boundary line is in. So basically, if we hit the ball over or the opposing team hits the ball over and it lands on the line, that means the ball was fair play and it was in bounds. No lifting. I went over that too just a second ago. No catching it, just tossing it up. It has to be a hit. No crossing center court. No crossing center court. So the players that are up by the net, no part of their body may go on the other side of the net. And no stepping on or across the service line. So as you're serving, you cannot step on the service line. You have to hit the ball prior to coming ahead of that line. Some other ones are getting in the net. If you fall into the net or hit the net at any time, that is also illegal. Scoring. Like I had just said, volleyball is played with rally scoring. Rally scoring, again, is basically that there will be a point every single time, no matter who is serving. Ball touches on receiving side at any point. So if the serving side hits the ball, and at any point, no matter how long the volley, if it lands on the receiving side, the serving team gets a point, and they keep the serve. If the ball touches on the serving side, same scenario, that's a point the receiving team, then the receiving team would get the serve. There are 3 sets when playing volleyball. The first 2 you play to 25, win by 2. So if it's 25-24, the game is not over yet. The match is not over yet. They have to at least be winning by 2. If it goes into a third, say the team split in the first 2, then the game goes to 15. There's a cap at 20 points though, and it's still win by 2. Like I just talked about being in the net, that is 1 point for the other team. That is illegal, and the other team gets a point. If the ball goes in the net or out of bounds at any point, no matter who hits it, the opposing team gets a point. The point system still holds true, obviously, for illegal hitting, such as your double hits or hitting more than 3 times on your side. And lastly, just the court dimensions. The court itself is 60 foot long and 30 foot wide. The net itself is 39 inches tall. From the top of the net to the bottom of the ground, for men it is 7 foot 11 inches. For women it is 7 foot 4 inches. The net is 32 foot long and the serving distance is 30 foot. So for serving distance, I mean from the spot where the service line is to the net. That is all I have for you guys to be prepared. Please be sure to study up on the terminology and some of the core dimensions, as they will be on the assessment at the end of the unit, like I had said previously.